Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I am Gabe González.
And I am Dana Piccoli.
And I'm Ian Martin.
And I'm Ian Crawford. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Dana and Ian are saints and both wanted to do these recordings that are back to back. And I wanted to point that out, that I appreciate both of you being like, yeah, I'll do both.
Amazing.
And we are here today to talk about Season 1's The Ring. Ian, in our last recording, you mentioned that it is an episode that you truly hate, correct?
Having watched it again today, I don't know about hate. There's worse stuff this season, but boy, is it a big mess. Big mess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was watching it today, and I feel like with some of these episodes, because, and like Ian, especially, I know you've gone through this because you've been going through them in a podcasty way where you have to analyze them. I don't know if I'm just giving them more room because it's like, well, it's 1,000th time I've seen it. I think of it as worse in my head. I still like the Angel, Cordelia, and Wesley stuff. But yeah, I was like, this is fine. I mean, it feels, Philip Ellis mentioned in our recording yesterday for The Prodigal that it looks Star Trek, and it really does. Like, it looks like a Star Trek Next Generation episode.
Oh yeah, funny you should mention that. But I'll get into that. Some thoughts on that in a minute.
But Gabe, what did you feel about this episode?
Yeah, I wasn't vibing on it. It was like giving Gladiator meets that prison series with Wentworth Miller. It is like one of those episodes where I am far more entertained by the B plot than I am the A plot.
Yeah,
I just wish we could scrub it. And it felt really long. Like, it felt like it was like an idea for a feature film. A Star Trek episode is absolutely a way to situate it in my head in terms of the prosthetics and the appearance of the demons, but also just like the storyline. It was really odd. I had a great time with Cordelia this episode, as I always do. But otherwise, I wasn't vibing. It was not for me. Not a cute little capsule episode.
And Dana, what'd you feel about the episode?
Okay, so this is the episode where I finally really liked Wesley.
Good.
Finally.
So we talked about this a little bit on the last episode, but this was the one that I was like, okay, Wesley, I get it. There's like a soft-hearted thing under all of your bravado. Yeah. I really loved Cordelia and Wesley's part in it. That was my favorite part. But it really, to me, it was like very Monster of the Weeky. Like, what's Angel's trauma this week? What are we going to put Angel through today?
You're right. It really is like, we're giving him just a cute little new trauma to add to this collection of traumas. Yeah, so this episode is about, Angel gets captured and fights in this ring. Gabe, I think you pointed it out perfectly that the B plot is way more interesting and way more fun. And I almost wish it had at least gotten somewhat more, like, anywhere near as much time as the A plot had gotten, right?
Totally. I mean, when we started off with the demon database, I was like, wait, this is really fun. I love the little bit of world building they do throughout this series. Yeah. So anytime I get a peek into kind of the resources they're using, like the modern technology that's cropped up surrounding demons and these more mystical or weird fantastical things, I'm very interested in that. And then we got this grounded, dramatic, weird prison parallel the entire time. And it was just it was such a slog. And God bless Angel, but he has a limited emotional range. It's built into the character. You know what I'm saying? And just this sort of proud savior complex moment was a little much for me. But I truly just love the bond moments we get with Wesley. I think I'd agree with Dana on this. He was a lot more charming this episode than he had been before, and seeing him and Cordelia play off of each other was a really fun dynamic after not really enjoying the initial trio they had at the beginning of season 1. So
yeah, I mean, and Ian, I'm curious what you think about this since you've already reviewed all of this. I was like, wait, is this the first episode Wesley is good at this stuff? Right?
No. I mean, it's interesting tracking Wesley's arc because he's on Buffy, he's supposed to be pratfally terrible, but there are hints of competency that start to sneak in during Angel, and you start to realize he's actually good at what he does. His main problem is his sense of self and his feelings about his father and all of that, which I can't remember if I've got you under my skin, is if we've watched that one already, or if
it's
that's
before these.
Yeah. So that's the first bit that has to do with his father. To me, the when he rolls in on the motorcycle, the demons are genuinely scared of him in this, which suggests competency. But in expecting, he nails that gunshot to shoot the canister over the demon. He's kind of like the Punisher with no self-esteem. Like if they definitely play on comic book tropes with both of these shows. I mean, Buffy is Peter Parker through and through, but Wesley's main issue is himself, and the more he gets out of his own way as the show goes on, the more we see how he's actually really good at what he does.
That's fair. I guess I keep thinking. So She, a few episodes ago, which I think is. We'll see when I finish the series, but it's like maybe the worst episode of the series.
Oh, God. Is this the beer bad of
She? I would say so. Yes, I beer bad is like way better than She. Like,
I mean, beer bad has foamy.
Yes.
She has nothing.
Nothing.
Could not follow that plot to save my life. Like, you could have a gun to my head and ask me to recap that episode, and I don't think I could. Like,
but in that episode, which is just 3 episodes before this, Wesley falls not once, not twice, but 3 different times.
It's kind of why that humor doesn't work for me, because there, I think that Alexis Denisof is wonderful at he can do humor very well, but in terms of Wesley's character, the big goofy broad falling over jokes make the transition from where he came from to where he's going a little rough.
So we, as Gabe mentioned, we open on Cordy and Wes, and it is weird. I mean, we've said this a couple times in these recordings, especially in Angel Season 1, what stuff they do keep and what stuff they get rid of in the world building that they're doing. And the Demons database is, they use that for the rest of the series.
I affectionately call it gurgling.
Gurgle. Yes. I love that.
So even like a lot of the Angel figures come with little laptops that have like that on the screen, the demons site. So I just always think of that as like an Angel thing. And like, and then we also get Lilah, who becomes, a little spoiler for Dana, she becomes a very important character in this universe.
I looked ahead. I know.
Okay. I never know what like you and Zach and like, because Gabe, you have watched it once, right? All the way through?
Unfortunately gotten to the later seasons at this point in my watch, because as I mentioned, you were the reason I picked it up again, and I had never seen much beyond season 1, a few episodes in season 1. So it kind of picks up in 2 and 3, and then some weird shit starts going down, and now
4 is a brick wall.
It is truly. I wish I was in the coma Cordelia was in. Like, wow, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's funny because it's you two and Zach who like kind of know, but like because he's seen me talk about it, Zach was even like, wait a minute, Cordelia and Angel don't spend a season as a couple? And I was like, oh, no, they don't. Like, he thought, like, that's how it ends, with, like, them as a couple. And I was like, ooh, I have bad news for you. But yeah, so this episode, we get that. We get them bickering. And the thing that does track here is, since Wesley has come back, he has been consistently underestimating Cordelia. Mm-hmm. So I do kind of like that in this episode, like, he does have to work with her, and he gets to see, which we all know, that she's actually pretty fucking smart and good at this shit. And I'm glad they don't undercut her moments, because sometimes they'll give her a moment and then undercut it, but they don't here. It's just like, yeah, she has the thing to unlock this. Yeah, she's the one to push the guy over. Like, she's the one that has the good undercover plan. Like, I like that she gets to do that.
Their chemistry is so good. I wrote down, it feels like ages since the world's worst kiss in the library.
Yes.
Like, at this point, it's that scene is almost unfathomable.
Yeah.
Given how good they are together and how much chemistry they have and how well they play off each other. I mean, it feels mercifully purely platonic.
Yeah.
But it's so good and so present.
Yeah. Dana, what do you think about their chemistry since you're more new to all of this?
Yeah, I see it better in this episode. Okay. it's this like serious silliness that Cordelia has. Mm-hmm. Because she's ridiculously funny. Like, I laugh out loud at some of the things she says, but she's not trying to be funny, and that's what I like so much about her. And I think that works really well based off of like Wesley's over seriousness as well. Mm-hmm. I think they're good foils for each other.
Yeah, I think they are. They really are, because Charisma just has a very good line delivery when she's delivering any lines, and like she has good chemistry with everyone she shares a scene with. So I really like that we get this. I like that also Angel comes in on them bickering. Like, the thing that really pisses Cordelia off is that he dares to say she would wear a push-up bra, which I love. And I like that he's like not really pressed. He's just like, oh, children, they're fighting. Oh, we have a client. Everyone relax. And then they do. I did want to like... So Gabe, you mentioned the weird that this client is all like a farce. Feels like a lot of work for them to be doing just to capture him, right?
Yeah, they dedicate a lot of scenes to this like sort of misdirect when Angel's tracking it down. I will say also very quickly about this scene, our opener, Cordelia's dating idea would make a great app. Like, if this show were happening now, I feel like that would absolutely be something that exists. I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Remind me what she says. I don't remember.
She says something about making a dating app for demons. Like, she loves the idea of like a dating site for demons. And I was like, I want to see that. I just want to see that. That's all. Just her working at a tech startup, making that happen would be great. But yeah, this misdirect was weird. And then I don't know, it was just like, it felt a little too stereotypical. It was like the guy's bruised, like the fingers in the box. And he's like, but they weren't human. And you're like, oh. And I thought it was going to be some like weird demon mafia or something like that. But yeah, we get like a lot of time spent on this misdirect. And I don't need y'all to spend this much time convincing me that it's a plant.
Like, or they could have just been like, that guy hires Angel and then he goes out that night and gets beat up and captured, right? Like, sure, that's all we needed.
I mean, it's the noir plotty mashup that they're trying to pull off. Again, Angel actually doing detective work, which is something you don't get a lot of beyond season 1.
That's true.
I mean, mercifully, I would say for the most part. Yeah, this one just feels like pick a lane with the genre. Firefly, they're all mashups. There's the cowboy, the space western, and then Buffy's the high school horror tropes. But this is like, it goes from noir to fantasy to Spartacus gladiator stuff. And it just is, it feels like it was put together by 4 different writers at once, which I know happened quite a bit. Someone got the main line that week, but the script got passed around and several different scenes were written in different ways. The bit in the prison is very self-serious, except when Angel wakes up. And then you get that noiry, like, that blustery, like, well, I asked for a room with a view, which is so weird because he doesn't talk that way normally, and then it goes away.
Right. Yeah, that was specifically is very weird. They only like, I feel like in season 1, there's like random episodes where they do this, and like, I don't know why, because that's not Angel. Like, the Buffyverse has the quips, but like Angel's never the quippy guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it worked with Angel, but a lot of the Mutant Enemy writers talk about how with Buffy, Joss touched every script and rewrote certain scenes. And a lot of times, if you loved a joke in an episode, it tended to be something that he wrote. And I do wonder if David Greenwald, as the main showrunner here, did some of that with each of the scripts, because this one just feels cobbled together from 4 different ideas, and the chemistry stuff in the group works great, and everything else is tedious and heavy-handed. Howard Gordon, I think, is the name of the writer on this one, and he also wrote Hero, which to me, people love that episode, and I think that it's because of the bookends to that episode, which again feel like they were written by a different writer. Where you have the chemistry stuff with Doyle and Cordy in the opening, our rats are low, and then the ending, which is very emotional and affecting. But whenever people talk about how much they love that episode, I'm like, yeah, but Nazi racial purity demons and Holocaust imagery, like, You know, I love the bookends to that episode, and that feels the same way here, where it's just kind of this bizarre mix of tones that never really comes together.
So, Dana and Gabe, you're both newer to Angel. Like, what do you feel about that, Dana? I'm curious, as like you, I know you're a huge Buffy fan, so I'm curious how you felt this season.
You know, the episodes pull me in and out. That's my problem. I think is that I was really with Buffy. I was all in. And even when there were flaws, like I could like look past them, but there's something about Angel that like one episode I'm like, okay, I'm in. And then next episode I'm like,
That is totally fair.
I totally agree. I feel like season 1 is like, it can't decide its tone yet. And I think it succeeds most in the episodes where it finds levity and like lets their actors do like fun dialogue work. And I think the episodes that succeed the least, or like maybe outright bad, are again these ones with like heavy-handed imagery that are supposed to, you know, conjure feelings of social commentary. And this just isn't a show that has the range to do something like that in a thoughtful way. I am way more interested in the idea of like, you know, demons assimilating to human culture, like sort of what traditions happen. Like when we're getting into that, it's like fun. It's it can be very comedic. You know, maybe you get ideas of like parallels between social inequality and like our society and theirs, but it's not like this is very serious. This is going to be a serious story. I'm just like, we don't need that. And I think the episodes where Angel's sort of like serious and like dour demeanor plays kind of against the tone are a lot more fun for me, or, you know, plays with rather than against.
That's, and I do think that's totally fair. And like, I do think, especially, I mean, we talked about this in The Prodigal, like, especially here, like, we're introducing Lilah, and it feels like they introduced her knowing they were going to use her more, right? Doesn't it feel that way?
Yeah. It was such a conspicuous entrance. I was like, we're making a big thing about this ticket. Right? Like, something's going down.
I knew the second that she started talking, I was like, okay, this chick's going to have like a bigger part, isn't she? And so that's when I started looking up her role into the season. They don't, it's not subtlety is not Angel's specialty.
Well, clearly they set out with a mandate to make a darker version of Buffy.
Right.
And that just doesn't work. I mean, even my favorite season of the show, while it has those high dramatic moments, is still comedic, and season 5 of Angel is still comedic, and it homogenizes all the tones together a little bit more successfully. But these early seasons just really smack of throwing as much against the wall to see what sticks, and including here's a new character. I mean, who's the millionaire?
Oh, David Nesbitt.
He appears for a couple of episodes and goes away. Kate, I mean, spoiler, Dana, I'm sorry, but Kate departs early in season 2. There's a number of characters that you think are going to be around for a little while and then kind of go away because the tone of the show shifts from episodic detective case of the week to, oh, we're really good at chemistry. Why don't we just tell archy stories about these characters and their struggles rather than, you know, all of this plotty external stuff.
Yeah, and it feels like they're kind of assembling. It almost feels like, because I mean, we get Gunn in a few episodes, we get the Faith episode soon. We just met Lilah, and now she's going to be in a couple episodes. Lindsay comes back. It does feel like they're like, yeah, let's get an ensemble cast, like even if it's just reoccurring people.
Yeah.
And what's wild is I know that J. August Richards, I interviewed him for the podcast after he had come out. And he said, I didn't realize he was hired as a diversity hire. They had a mandate that all the shows needed to have at least one black character. And he said that's why he got hired. That they then wrote Gunn into the show and they hired him because there was some mandate at the WB. And it's wild to think that so far into season 1, they were like, oh, now we have to add one character of color. But then they did, and they did a good job, which is weird.
Right. I mean, he's one of the best additions to the cast. Also, I'm like, y'all are in Los Angeles. First of all, how does Angel run a small business without knowing how to speak a little Spanish? And how are there no people of color in your cast? It's just it's wild to me. The amount of white blonde people at parties. I'm like, I guess you're exclusively in Beverly Hills. I don't know what to tell you. What's going on?
we get a lot of the detective work shit. Even the howler demon.
I'm sure that's what they wrote into the script. Detective work shit.
Ridiculous.
Like that felt especially stupid.
When he lights the flame with the bill.
Yeah, like,
I also wrote down season 1 seems to be the season of generic lantern jawed douchebags.
Yeah, it really does.
There you go.
Like just
Like
generic
gangsters.
just generic. Who the entire population of the Lonely Hearts bar early on. Half of Wolfram and Hart, just people who could hammer a nail into a board with their jaw, and I don't want to watch on screen.
That is fair. So we meet that he's like a bookie, right? Is the guy with he's a bookie. Angel pays him, and like again, this is a lot of work for something that like they could have done this in that alley. Like right there, those guards could have been in that alley. Why did they like? And he beat up a lot of people. Like, I don't know.
God, and the wheatgrass joke. I just remember I wrote in all caps, wheatgrass joke, and then sad face. It was just cut all of it.
Gabe, do you want to say what the joke was?
It was just something like he's like it's something like wheatgrass, like you ought to try it, it's good for the digestion. And I was like, what it's delivered like it's supposed to. I can't even. I've wiped it from my brain already. That's all I know. Wheatgrass joke, sad face. That's the general sentiment.
You're right. It's the delivery that makes it even wilder, because it's like, wait, he just like straight face, there was no beat. Like, is that not a joke? Is it?
It sounded like the Angel line was delivered in ADR too.
It's like he had to improv several jokes.
You really brought David into a booth to record that?
Oh man.
So he goes to the ring. Every time I'm like, I just call it the ring. He goes there, he sees what's going on. We meet Lilah. She looks great. It is a good intro for a character. It's weird, but they make her presence. Like, she has a presence, right?
Her presence is my presence.
Hey, she does make a sexy entrance.
He sees the guy he's been looking for. He goes to him. He learns it's all been a trap. He gets captured and becomes one of the like enslaved demons in this like fighting ring.
Okay, can I pose a question for all of you? This is the one big like emotional stretch that like confused me in this show, is that like he's walking around this ring, right? And he looks horrified, like absolutely horrified. But I cannot count the amount of demons he's just like, right? Just like absolutely slaughtered.
Yeah, the number one problem with the episode is like
you and your ex have both like spent seasons just not even looking at this dude being like, what did you do? Why are you being forced to be someone's? Like, no, they just like behead them or stake them. And suddenly he's walking around this ring like, I really feel for these demons.
Okay, but that is pointed out at the end of the episode.
It is.
Right, yes.
But does that make up for the total lack of dramatic stakes during the episode? I feel I agree with you. Like that's a good line. The ending, like, oh, didn't we? That's a great comedic beat at the end of the episode. But it doesn't, for me, make up for the entire time of just like, demons have been treated as a plague the entire time. Am I supposed to be upset because Ebola is fighting cancer in the middle of the ring? Like, who cares? Why do I care about this?
That is a very good point. I mean, I feel like we're supposed to be like, I don't like, some of them are good, some of them, because like there's like the demon with the tongue, right? Who like is posed as the bully bad guy, but in the end he does help everyone escape.
We've talked about this before on other episodes of Slayerfest, but I think Angel does go farther in sort of humanizing demons, like showing a more comedic or human side to a lot of these demon characters rather than just strictly as antagonists. Mm-hmm. And so I like do understand some of the moral ambiguity present throughout the series. Like, it's not coming out of nowhere, but like in this one in particular, I'm just like, I don't know. It was, it did feel a little out of the blue.
Yeah. We quickly learn all of the like rules or whatever Right? It's like
the first rule about Demon Fight Club is everyone apparently talks about Demon Fight Club.
Yeah. So we learn that they have these cuffs that if they cross the red line, they get like disintegrated, which I didn't quite understand later for how Angel's arm doesn't like. He just like quickly pulls it. I don't know. It feels like these people immediately when they cross that line turn to dust. We kind of set up the dynamic of the demons, but it doesn't matter. I don't even know any of their names. So before that, we do get a scene, I guess, I wanted to mention, because I do like Cordy and Wes we keep cutting to them, right? And one of the cuts is, she's like, ugh, there's always slimes. He's talking about the demon. Did she say claw or hands? And she's like, he said claw like hands. And I thought that was like, I like them watching them do the research. I don't know.
Putting it all into the demons.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
And I love that they're pre-written in categories on the site. It's like hands, smell. I'm just like, love that. Love that.
And it does feel very advanced for a website back then, right? For a website in what, like the year 2000, I think is
2000, yeah.
Yeah. So, God,
it's really fun listening to you try and summarize these episodes.
I know.
And then fighting, and then I don't know.
And then Cordelia making a joke about abortion hair plugs, and then we're back to fighting. Yeah.
Angel's trying to get the other demons to rebel against their captors, but some of the demons are very close to their 21 kills, which means that they'll get out. And the others are just like, what? We can't. There's no way out of here. Forget this. We're demons. We're not friends. You've probably killed all of my cousins. Angel, like yourself. And so basically nobody wants to work with Angel in his quest for unity.
Yes, thank you for accurately summarizing, Dana.
A lot more articulate than
this is why Dana is a professional.
God bless.
And I'm clobbering together this podcast with like super glue. So yeah, we get a little bit more of, we see Wes and Cordy are in panic mode because Angel has not come home, right? We get the tiny bit of linking it to the episode before this, because they say they called Cop Lady and that she didn't seem to care.
Yeah, she was like, fuck you and fuck Angel, and she hung up on them.
Yeah.
So Cordelia's worried, right? And so she's like, Wesley, we gotta look for him. And Wesley's like, oh, it's just one night. And Cordy's like, no, this is serious. So they go off looking for him, and they run into these guys, and they
see.
Hold on, I got it. And Wesley gets on his like big bad guy, like where's Angel? And they're like, give me some money, right? And Wesley whips out his like little baby mini crossbow, and shoots the guy in the hand. And he's like, again, where's Angel? So then they get a little bit more of an idea of like what Angel's really gotten stuck into.
Yeah. And so then we do get, which you were leading up to, we do get Wes and Cordy. There's also a lot of that in this episode where like they go beat someone up and they're like, give me the info. And then they're just out of place, which I appreciate cutting out that, but it's like, cut out more of this.
I will say the one moment in that scene I really appreciated is when Wesley walks up to the dude's hand that he has nailed to, I guess, a board or column using the little baby crossbow, and then just gently twists it. And I was like, oh, like this is freaky, Wesley. Like we're getting like, he's not fucking around,
right?
Fellas. It was an important detail for Wesley's arc in this episode for me. I was like a little grossed out, and I was like, this is new. I like this.
That's that moment of competence where he hits him perfectly in the hand and grabs the gun as it slides across the floor. You just get that moment of like, oh, so this is what he's capable of. In the same episode where he says, well, I'm bringing this along, and pulls the whole thing off the table and falls over and does that whole wah, wah, you know.
But somewhere between that scene and this one, Wesley was trained by the CIA and now knows exactly how to,
But it is there. It's there. And it's fun to see it emerge during the course of his arc.
Yeah. And so then we get them, they're at this ring and they're about to enter, and I love this scene.
It's a great scene.
Right? Dana, tell us about this scene.
It's so good. So why can't Cordelia be this good of an actor
right?
When she's actually acting.
She is good, right?
She's so good. She basically is like, yo, like, we need your information, and we're with the police. And the guy's like, don't you know who I am? And she and Wesley go back and forth, and you can tell they're like trying to be scene partners in this. It's not quite successful.
Yeah.
But eventually they convince this guy, oh no, you shouldn't go in, and they end up getting his tickets, so they're able to sneak in.
I love to show him the badge, and Alexis opens his wallet backwards, flashes it really quickly, and puts it back in his pocket. So good.
And like, I love that she is confident and stone-faced the entire, like, Cordelia's like, nope, I am doing this, and they are going to believe me. And like, the way she figures out from them, like you said, Dana, the guy's like, don't you know who I am? And so then she's like, yes, we're helping you because there's going to be a raid. Yes. And that's fucking smart, right?
So she flips on a dime. She like runs with it. It's like beautiful, Cordy.
Yeah. And so they get their tickets. They're able to enter. And we see them, like, they go in as Angel's fighting his first fight. So they watch him kill the demon that he's fighting. And like, again, as you've all mentioned, the beat of like, oh no, he's killed a demon. It's like, yeah, he does that every episode. And like, they play like dramatic music because he stabbed the guy. And it just feels like, so what? Like, what now? Okay. Like,
yeah, I was thinking of a simple way of kind of raising the stakes or fixing, at least bringing some dramatic tension to it, other than the music and the way it's shot and all of that, which is just telling us that this is dramatic, but we're not actually feeling anything. Howard Gordon wrote Hero, and Hero has the Lister demons in it with the Holocaust imagery and all of that. But Reef is the young boy demon in that story that is trying to get away and trying to escape his family and all of that. And the young demon in the ring, the young boy who's just obviously fodder to be murdered for drama. I was like, just
don't rock the boat.
Just make him Reef from Hero. We've already established the connection to that character, the drama of it. Maybe Angel, instead of this whole convoluted thing about Angel being hired to be captured or whatever, he goes after Reef has disappeared. He goes after to find Reef, ends up getting captured and put in the ring. And Reef is the one who says, don't rock the boat, and is that character during the course of the story. Then they're like, it fixes like 10 things at once. It's much more dramatically engrossing and all of that. But the rest of it, without that, I just didn't care.
Yeah. I fucking love that rewrite, Ian. That is a very good idea. Like, because so often the show does that a lot, right? And it reminds me of Doctor Who in a bit, like in a little way. Like the way that Doctor Who, and to be fair, Doctor Who is a show I gave up on halfway through Peter Capaldi's season, so I don't know about the like more recent ones. But especially in like early seasons with like David Tennant, they would introduce a character for one episode that would have to be like, that character's death is supposed to be sad. And it was always like, I don't care. I just met this character 15 minutes ago. So, all right, whatever. And I'm almost never sold on a one-off. You're supposed to care about this character and only for this episode, and you will never see them again. Like, I just have trouble with that.
Yeah. And Reef in Hero borrows on Doyle's arc to get us emotionally invested in him, which is why it works a little bit better.
Yes.
If it works at all.
I don't know what you're talking about.
In the Doyle's last episode, Dana, there's a younger demon that he like convinces to come back. The demon like runs away at some point. That's that demon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what I'm saying is if the case had just been that young boy demon that Doyle tried to save has disappeared, Angel goes after him, which gives Angel more stakes because he's trying to preserve Doyle's last heroic act. We're already more connected with that young boy from Doyle's last episode than we are to the kid in this one.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. But it's so easy to play armchair quarterback with this kind of thing. It's like, I don't know which actors were available, what the schedules were like.
Right.
I know they had 2 weeks to film an episode, which is no time at all, and the writers were moving that quickly too. So take everything I say with a grain of salt, of course.
Yeah, I just would have missed that finger in a box at the beginning that they stared at for way too long. You know what I mean? Like, just the credits rolled and it was still open, and it took them a long time to close it. It's just
them holding onto a finger. A line that I do like when Cordy and Wesley enter is like, Wesley does say that there had been rumors of like demon fight clubs, as Dana called it, throughout whatever. And he said, I'd heard rumors of a revival. And Cordy replies, couldn't they have just done West Side Story?
Oh my God.
so good. So good.
I was like, wait a minute, that's a really fucking good line that they like breeze by, but I do like that.
This is also a very like Eat the Rich episode.
Yeah.
Because I can absolutely imagine a bunch of like wealthy people throwing down thousands of dollars to watch enslaved demons battle it out with each other. I'm like, oh God, this feels too close to home.
So as I was watching this, I was thinking about, there's an interview with Patrick Stewart where he talks about how during the first year of Star Trek The Next Generation, he lived in a hotel the entire time because he thought the show was going to be canceled. And in it, he says, yeah, we were filming some racist piece of garbage. And the episode he's referring to is Code of Honor, which is the second or third episode in Star Trek The Next Generation, where Tasha needs to fight a gladiator battle against someone else, and they're on this planet that is completely populated by stereotypes from Coming to America. Oh, geez. It was the late 80s, but boy, has that not aged well. But the one of the common readings of Star Trek that I've heard is that, yes, it's supposed to be a utopia, but all of the aliens are racially coded. Yeah. So I'm not going to break down the stereotypes for you, but if you look at the Ferengi and if you look at the Klingons and if you look at the Vulcans, they all sort of conform to commonly held Western racial stereotypes. In this one, well, I thinking about this today, I realized that's one of the things that makes me kind of uncomfortable with this episode is I feel like the demons are very racially coded in this. Yeah. And from that perspective, it turns this whole gladiator story into a white savior story where Angel literally sacrifices himself and is willing to be murdered to save everyone else, and then all of the demons rise up thanks to Angel and save themselves and so forth. It's Ferngully, it's Avatar, it's Dances with Wolves. Done in weekly fantasy. And it just is that, like, that's just one of those storytelling tropes that needs to die. It is so tired. And I say all of that acknowledging that I don't think any of that was done. I normally assume that that was not done deliberately. I've talked with some of the writers on the shows, and this is just layered into the culture at the time, and you just kind of wander into it by accident. And then in hindsight, I think Tim Minear said, like, with a lot of that stuff we wrote just doesn't work anymore. And I was like, oh, okay. Of course.
Well, it's also like writers at that writer's room at that time were dominated by like predominantly white perspectives as well, right? So it's like, y'all are stumbling into it, but you're stumbling into it because the crew cannot see it, right? You're just like driving blind. And so there are so many moments this season where I'm like, we're in LA and this is coded as like a Chicano man, but like he's a demon who's about to get stabbed, but like he's wearing a bandana and some cholo shit. It's just like so fucked up sometimes. I'm like, come on, baby, just like cast a human one. Like, let them not die. Like,
yes.
Another easy thing, make these characters all human beings. That have been captured, or make it, you could go back to Christians to the Lions, so make one a demon and then one humans that have been captured off the street or something if you want to play with these kind of historical ideas. But this particular form is uniquely devoid of any substance to me.
Yeah, especially so. Yes, speaking of the savior stuff, so we quickly get the quote unquote fake, the missing brother that wasn't missing, who is like seems to be one of the like wranglers of these enslaved demons. Angel I have no idea how this works. He pulls his arm over the red line. Just a little electrocution happens. He pulls the guy in. He's like, I'm going to kill him. The fake client that had hired him just comes in and shoots his brother. And it doesn't even... that scene did nothing, right? It's like, okay. Again, like... And it's supposed to be a big, like, oh no, this man killed his brother. But these are like men who keep slaves. So I'm not like... You know,
right?
Again,
like,
no stakes.
The moral compass is nowhere.
Yeah, it's like spinning around real fast. So then they electrocute him, and Gabe, where does he wake up?
Oh my gosh, wait, where are we at this point? Hold on, now I've got to find my outline. Jesus, which time? Because he gets electrocuted so often.
He wakes up in an office?
Oh, he wakes up with Miss Lilah, who's about to dish she's about to dish the tea. And I would love to talk, once we get through this scene, I would love to talk about her, because I'm very much confused about Wolfram and Hart's intentions with Angel throughout the season. It's a very will they, won't they. It's a very fuck, marry, kill. Which one are we doing this week? So this is interesting to me. But yes, we are in an office with Lilah.
The answer to that question is yes.
I know, right? Yeah, it's yes. It's all of the above in every way.
Dana, knowing that she comes back into it, what did you think of this scene?
I mean, it didn't surprise me that she ended up having a larger role in this. And then I have to give Angel kudos here. He was like, you know what? These guys suck, but there is no way in hell I'm going to be under the thumb of Wolfram and Hart. And he's like, no thanks. And he's like, send me back to the ring.
Yeah. You are right, Dana. Like, it is no surprise, right? Because her acting is like leaps and bounds already better than like any throwaway lawyer they've had in.
Yeah, and she's a brunette, so yes. Angel has to connect on a deeper level with brunettes.
Right. Now. If she was a blonde, she'd be a love interest for 2 episodes, and then he'd murder her father. It'd be great. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, Ian, what do you think about this scene?
It takes me a while. I know Lilah is a fan favorite, but it takes me a little while to warm up to her and the sort of the plight. I don't know why. I guess it's something that I've not. But the thing is, like, any returning big bads for us to attach to, especially at this point, is a wonderful addition. You know, the more we get of Lindsay, the more we get of Lilah. I think in season 2 is when I start to warm up to Lilah, when they're playing off of each other. Lindsay and Lilah are playing off of each other. It's a lot of fun. But at this point, it could be the episode itself is just so lukewarm for me that, I was no more in. The other thing too is Angel just lacks any pragmatism whatsoever, right? Like, you're out.
You're going to give the speech I was about to give. Yes.
You know where the ring is.
Thank you.
Go back and find your team and go shut those guys down. You don't need to noble sacrifice yourself to go back into they may not even know where you are. Lie to her. Take the deal.
Yes,
and then
right. Absolutely. Come on.
It's so silly. It's just so silly.
That my notes say this is so fucking stupid because there's not a world if he is not going to abide by this like Demon Fight Club contract where he's like, well, I'm not going to kill. Why does he have to abide by some arbitrary Wolfram and Hart contract that he's had nothing to, he didn't sign shit, right? Like, I just feel like saying take me back to the Demon Fight Club is so fucking stupid because just lie to her. Just be like, all right, cool. Yeah, we'll work together. Haha, JK, I'm never working with you.
Yeah, it's a part of the Spartacus trope genre they're doing, and it just doesn't fit in this particular storyline. You know, it's just a messy, messy script.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like so noble, it circles back to fucking stupid.
Yes.
I'm also like, they introduce Wolfram and Hart and then like selectively reference them throughout episodes. And I'm like, this episode is already so crowded. Yeah. This is we're gonna pick up one of the larger season arcs and be like, actually, here's a little bit about them. I was just like, this is too much. We're crammed in. Like, I can't anymore. And it's also just very confusing. They're like offering deals with him, but like then they maybe like want to capture him, then they maybe want him dead. I'm just like, what do you want? And I'm not even sure they know. They're just supposed to be like shady LA lawyers who are kind of demonic. And that's all I feel like at this point in watching the season, that's all I felt I had gotten. And, you know, to be fair, I think a lot of things are clarified maybe, or like retconned and then changed. Like, but it is, it just made the episode more convoluted for me. And I do love Lilah. I think some of her later moments are confusing for me in terms of like what she would do. But at this point, I was very interested. I just felt like this wasn't an episode for me to like figure out why or how yet.
Yeah, yes. And I think that Lilah definitely shines starting in season 2.
Yeah, and the Lilah that I particularly love, without spoiling anything, I believe is in season 4. And again, it's all in who she is able to play off of.
And then I hate what happens.
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll get there.
So I'm going to do what you said, Ian. I'm going to combine. We get a lot of Wesley and Cordelia. We're cutting back to them. He electrocutes himself and he does fall over. Cordy has, I still.
We should do a pratfall count. keep track of every episode.
So, I'm not quite sure what the hair thing does. She's like, horsehair.
So the reason he gets electrocuted is because this magical, mystical bracelet or whatever conducts electricity of some sort. And they need some sort of way to like trigger the mechanism that doesn't conduct electricity that way. And so Cordelia takes off her Palomino hair bracelet, which she says before the IRS came. She had this Palomino pony, and they're able to use the horsehair because it is stiffer than like a regular piece of hair, but it does not conduct electricity. And that is why the horsehair works to release the 21 bands.
Dana, great explanation. Thank you so much.
What a weirdly specific detail.
Well,
right?
You know, you gotta be able to bring in the Palomino at some point.
I love Cordelia coming out as a horse girl this episode. That's great. I do want to point out Wesley's language this episode has been really like particularly horny in like a kind of like British romantic way. Like in the first scene, he says Cordelia is erected on like pump heels alone, and in this scene he says the word supple. I forget what he uses it to describe what they need, and I'm like erected, supple. I just kept writing words down where I was like, Wesley's like going through it. Like Wesley has a lot of pent up energy that is coming out in his language that's making me deeply uncomfortable this episode.
So we get all that. They figured out how to hack the cuffs, right? And we cut back to Demon Fight Club. We learned that Angel has to fight the like quiet stoic demon that we kept cutting to.
Surprise.
So even his design, there is I was obsessed with Star Trek as a kid, right? But as an adult, every time I try to revisit, especially Next Generation, I'm like, oh, this is a chore. So I haven't revisited Star Trek, but there is a very specific character that I can picture who wears like a greenish beige outfit and has a sash. He looked just like this demon. But he looked like a pig version, but he still had the weird dinosaur, like, shell spike things. I don't know. But there's a demon, alien in Star Trek who does look like this demon. Doesn't fucking matter. This guy, like, he just says, like, I'll kill you quick. And that's the only line we had heard him say previously. Cordy and Wes get back into Demon Fight Club. And Dana, what does Cordelia do to get them in?
She's like, oh my God, I totally got lost on my way to the bathroom. Yeah. Which is absolutely something I would do if I was in that position. So Wesley sneaks in, and due to Cordelia's adorable ineptitude, which is actually cunning cleverness,
the thing I love is that Cordelia is very good at using that, right? She is very good at being like, oh, haha, I'm so dumb. But really, she's fucking smart because she knows that that'll like get whatever man she's trying to create a diversion with to like completely be like, what do you need, sweetheart?
It's like Jennifer Garner in Alias. It's Kaylee Cuoco in The Flight Attendant. It's just giving me like range. Actresses with range lost on the way to the bathroom. It is the favorite excuse. And I absolutely love it. I do. I really do.
Wesley then finds the demon with the long tongue. And we go back to that weird thing where he's like, also, I was like, Wesley, why are you putting your arm inside? Like, That feels right.
Wesley. Maybe it's that he is too naive. Maybe that's it. It's just that he doesn't think 2 steps ahead.
Yeah, right? Like, as soon as he put his hand in there, I was like, well, that demon's going to take that.
Like, let me stick my magic token, basically, like, right in the face of this demon.
The most important thing for the episode.
That he took it.
Yeah. The demon uses his tongue to take the key. Wesley meets up with Cordelia and he tells her that he lost the key, which is another weird... That's another thing in this episode where it's like, we spent so much time on that. And then it gets like stolen from him and he's too dumb to use it correctly. But it does help because then that demon unlocks his chain. We see Angel about to kill the stoic demon. He does not. Then that demon's about to kill him, but he does not. And the big boss is like, all right, kill them both. Cordy and Wesley have spotted him. You know, they throw those like pointed, then they start to they go to kill them. Wesley takes out a gun. He is beat up and the boss takes the gun. And then Cordelia, what does she do, Gabe?
Cordelia at this point, okay, we got the demons fighting. Someone has the gun has been pulled out. Sorry, I'm literally trying to look at my notes at this point. They're absolutely unintelligible.
I'm keeping you and Dana on your toes. I know Ian's got this plot.
No, it feels like a pop quiz where I started tripping on acid and then came to at the end. She pushes him in? Who is she pushing?
The bad guy, the big bad guy.
The bad guy! The one who shot his brother. Thank you. Okay, this is where we are. Sorry, I was still thinking about the speech Angel gave to Trepkos earlier, which I think goes back to Ian's point. But yes, okay, we're here. Wesley's pulled out the gun. The man who shot his brother has been pulled in, and surprise, surprise.
Right.
The demons who have stormed the arena are about to do something. Ian, what did they do? The tables have turned, Ian Carlos.
So then they put one of the cuffs on him and immediately throw him across the red line, and he disintegrates. So they all escape, and even this ending feels like, oh, we're done? Normally these episodes wrap up with the next day or that night they're at Angel Investigations, but then we just, they're leaving. And
yeah, the South Park thing they always used to satirize, well, what have we learned? I learned today that, I shouldn't be wearing the ring because I have to earn my redemption. This one's like, hey, didn't we just set a bunch of demons free? It's over!
Oh, shit, we're going to end up killing most of those guys later this month.
Hey, look at that in front of us next season.
Yeah. Well, also, it almost feels like it should have played the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme.
Yeah,
literally, actually.
Yeah, and then that's it. The episode is over.
Yeah, the thing he says to Trepkos, I wrote it down. Is this how you want to pay for your freedom? With 21 bodies, you'll always be their slave.
Which is...
It's just this white dude explaining to a man the conditions of his slavery.
Yeah. It doesn't work for multiple reasons. There's that one. The other one is he's a demon. It reminds me of Orlando Bloom and Johnny Depp fighting in Pirates of the Caribbean. And Orlando Bloom's you cheated. And Johnny Depp goes, pirate?
Yeah, it's just and I feel like Trepkos should have been and how many demons have you killed, Angel?
Yeah.
My friend Trepkos is a man of few words. Okay.
Yes.
He doesn't waste his breath on foolishness.
Also, a good point. He does not.
I want a spinoff called My Pal Trepkos. Just him walking around LA, man of few words. Really charming.
Him and Dana, a buddy comedy.
Yes, fully.
All right, we're at the end here. Favorite outfit? I know this is what the one is rough for this episode. Gabe.
Oh God, favorite outfit. This is really this is kind of tough. Yeah. I want to say Wesley's little trench coat thing where he shoots the man. Is he wearing that little trench coat at that point?
He's wearing his beige linen suit.
Oh, he loves that beige linen.
That's what it is. Thank you.
He does love it.
Because I was seeing khaki in my brain. You're right. It's a beige linen suit. I think that outfit, his little Los Angeles, Southern California version of James Bond might have been the best menswear of the episode.
All right.
It's a low bar.
Dana?
Well, I have to disagree because I think the best menswear of the episode is actually my friend Trepkos, who is wearing a lederhosen
outfit. He is.
He is wearing lederhosen with lamb's wool on the inside to protect against his nipples chafing or something.
Oh my god.
Yeah, striped
pants and
vertical striped pants,
and later hose and top.
Ian.
That's the winner. Right.
All right. I think so. The first time they go to the ring, when Cordelia does her very confident undercover cop bit, she's wearing like a black dress and has I think it's like a cheetah print, but it's like a light colored cheetah print. I like that outfit, and her hair is done up and it looks cute. Because when she does her hair up sometimes this season, sometimes they do like just pull it back. But this updo is like, I don't know if there's a word for that, where like the pulled back part is also poofy, and I think it looks cute on her. Favorite scene, Ian?
It's got to be the badge flashing scene.
Yeah, fair.
The two of them teaming up. I mean, the answer is really any scene with Wes and Cordy in this one, but that's probably the highlight to me.
Yeah, fair. Gabe?
I'm also going to say that scene. My reason, or like my primary reason, I think, is that it showcases why Cordelia's insight is important and like her background is a unique asset to the group. Like, I don't think anybody else could approach a bunch of like rich LA normies and be like, look, their deference to authority is how we're going to get this done. Like, I know this, you might not. And it just proves why she is an asset, especially in these early seasons. And it's just such a funny scene. It's great.
Yeah, Dana?
Again, I'm agreeing with Ian and Gabe, but mine is the earlier Cordy and Wes scene where they're going through demons.
Really put a lot of thought into that name.
I do like that they do that. And she's like, I would just call it Demon Database. I'm going to agree with Ian and Gabe. That is my favorite scene. Gabe, you perfectly articulated, like, she is an asset and we're going to show you that she's an asset. They don't fucking undercut it. I love it. Cordelia is great. What grade do we give this episode, Gabe?
I haven't gone below a B all season, but I think I'm going to give this one a C-.
Fair. Totally fair. Dana?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a C.
Ian?
Yeah, it's a C, and that's grading on the curve of season 1.
Yeah. I'm also I'm also a C, but I'm like parentheses, not in a bad way. Like, I think at least the Cordy and Wes stuff is fun, and I do like them having to have the agency of like kind of solving the case. But it's just the A plot is caca. Like,
I mean, I hate to summon up the meme, but I was entertained. Right? If that's the by any basic measure, if there's a binary measure for episodes one way, and I honestly think, it's TV. That's the one obligation it has, is to entertain, and I was entertained.
Fair. All right. Well, thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for listening. If you liked Slayerfest 98, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can support us on Patreon. Any and all support is much appreciated. We, at this point, will have finished Harley Quinn season 2. We're doing finishing up What If season 1, and eventually we'll get to Harley Quinn season 3. And if you want to follow us on social, we are at SlayerFestX98. If you want to follow me, I am at IanXCarlos. Dana, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dana Piccoli, 2 C's, 1 L.
Gabe, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter or Instagram using the handle Gaybones, GAYBONEZ, or you can go to my website, gabeis.gay. That's a real URL, I promise.
Wow.
Gabe, every time you say that, I'm like, oh shit, I forgot. Like, I love it. I'm very entertained every time.
I thought I was a professional lesbian, and that...
Have you .gayed yourself yet, though? That's the real question.
And Ian, where can everyone find you?
I'm youtube.com/passion of the nerd.
And you're on season 2 of Angel, right?
Yeah. As of the time of this, I mean, the recordings, working on Reprise in the Body.
Oh, the body. Oh God.
Oh, wow.
I do not envy you having to go over that episode.
No.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.